Yeah,
Go ahead and say some words.
saying some words,
All
many
right.
words.
What is up, party people? It's your boy, Trader Mayne. Back with the stream. It's been a minute. I know you guys have been loving the 3 times a week short updates, but my autism can't handle not getting on here and yelling random shit every once in a while. So we are overdue for a stream, and I figured why not bring out one of the GOATs onto the stream here. So I have a very special guest. We've done this in the past, but if you're new here and you have only been following me maybe for the last couple months, last year, you haven't seen one of these streams with my good friend LomahCrypto. So a little background on Loma. We're in the Haven together. So you guys are in the Haven. You know Loma, obviously. But those of you on YouTube and Twitter who don't know Loma, this is one of the greatest traders I have ever had the lucky chance in my life to interact with and talk with about the market. So you guys are in for an awesome episode. And if you're not following him already, make sure you go check him out on Twitter. He has his own YouTube as well. And you're going to be soaking up some alpha. Make sure you go back through his feed. He used to post a ton of great informational stuff. He still posts awesome stuff. But if you're not following him yet, follow him for sure. With that being said, Loma, how you doing, my man?
Really good, man. That was such a sick intro. No, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. And yeah, man, thanks for hosting.
Thanks for being here, bro. It's been too long. So, me and Loma, guys, we're OGs in many senses of the word, not just because we've been on crypto Twitter a long time. We're kind of getting old. I don't know how old Loma is. Not quite as old as me. I'm 42 and a half, as everyone knows. But we've been around this crypto Twitter thing coming up on a decade. Can you believe that?
Yeah, we're grandpas here. Yeah, we should have made it a couple years ago, but we fucked up, I guess. So we're
Like,
we're here.
it's one of those things where they're like, you're gonna make money and then you'll leave, but then you don't leave, and it's like, it's crazy. I mean, we've seen anything and everything that you guys can imagine, from not just FTX going down. We're talking cycles before that. Many of you were birthed in the FTX and Luna and Three Arrows Capital collapse. That was like Sunday dinner for us. We're like, oh, look, another exchange is blown up. Another Ponzi has imploded. So if you're looking for some lore, Loma and I have been around for most of it, to be honest with you. We were around when Bitcoin was 4 digits. It was the price that ETH is now. We were around when BitMEX and about, what was it, a couple hundred BTC were all there was between the zero and the current price on the order book. So this is going to be informative. I want to start with just at a high level here, because we just made a new all-time high the other day. I've got the weekly chart up here on Bitcoin, and it was kind of one of those bullshit all-time highs. It's kind of, I don't want to jinx it, reminiscent of the one we made back in January, where we just took the high and then ended up actually having a larger correction before the next breakout. So, high time frame, where are you at in the market right now? What do you think?
Yeah, great call there. So right now on the high time frames, I'm just gonna always be betting that the same thing is happening, right? Which is there's this funny phrase or like quote that I think Suzu said, which is like, when I see an all-time high, like I increase my position or something like that. Like you want to buy the price discovery is what he's trying to say.
Sure.
And for a certain time, that worked wonderfully. Anytime you saw, new all-time highs, you almost wanted to just double your position and just blindly buy. Um, the last few years, that has not been the case. Almost every time that there's a new all-time high, it's been a good area for you to take some profit. And I guess this time is no different. And I'm betting that, in terms of price action, this is probably going to end up the same, where you get a slight pullback, prices stay within this range on Bitcoin, while other things suffer at the range lows on Bitcoin, which you have marked out. you want to buy. And you want to buy alts that have some type of momentum that are in play, right? And when I say in play, I mean whatever the flavor of the month is. That could be Hyperliquid, that could be FARTCOIN, that could be whatever, meme or whatever utility token is currently dominating the narratives. But that's essentially what you want to focus on. Bitcoin has always just acted as this compass, and I do think it's going to continue to do that, where prices are chopping. Everything that's not Bitcoin looks kind of ugly, but I don't think market structure is going to break. I don't think the bull market is over, but it is a little bit more difficult this time around.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm looking at our Discord history. Literally, the last time we streamed was almost a year ago to the day. That's hilarious. So I agree. I mean, I'm treating this range the exact same as the range in May to the end of June, which is you're bullish on everything, alts included at the range lows, and you kind of de-risk at the range highs. The only thing that is slightly concerning to me is
Mhm.
Bitcoin could potentially be putting in a weekly SFP here. And over the last like 3 years plus, every single weekly SFP, both bullish and bearish, has given us a huge reaction. So we obviously had the weekly SFPs at the all-time highs in April of 2021 and later on. We had a weekly SFP at the lows around 20K before this thing finally took off. We had another one around 30K before it took off. We had another one at 50K before it broke to 100. And then most recently, we had one at the top in January, and then the bottom, a couple months later in April. And now we're potentially threatening to put in a weekly SFP. So I'm not saying that this means we're fucking over, we're done, but to your point, it has been a little harder to trade than I think prior cycles, where you just kind of buy every all-time high breakout. You just assume price discovery is going to continue aggressively. Generally, these weekly SFPs have been super, super consistent. I think at worst, this thing can pull back to low 100Ks. Like, I don't think anything on the weekly is remotely bearish, even with the SFP. We just might get a decent correction, but I'm of the same mind. I think everything goes higher. I don't think the run is over. To your point about assuming things are going to remain the same, I assume that the 4-year cycle actually is going to remain intact. I know a lot of people are back to posting about the super cycle and we're just getting started and this time is different because of the treasury companies. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I don't think it's over. I don't think Bitcoin is done. I still think we make new highs, ETH makes new highs, Sol trades up higher. But what do you think about kind of the 4-year cycle? Is it done? Is this just a different ball game now? Or are you still open to the fact that, hey, I mean, we're up 8 or 9x from the lows over 3 years ago, and maybe we're a little closer to the end than the beginning?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first, I'll throw out the disclaimer that I am a lot better at telling you where prices are going to be a couple days, a couple hours, and at most like a week from now. Which is to say that I don't really make my money projecting what I think the cycle is going to do a couple months out, or even how long the cycle is going to last. But I will say that generally speaking, a cycle wouldn't change so drastically from the last. I think there's always this gradual pivot, just because I think, markets are made from market participants, which are people, and people do not drastically change from one day, one week to the next. And yes, you could argue that, yeah, there's institutions, there's ETFs, there's treasuries, there's blah 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 that are buying. So maybe the 4-year cycle isn't as accurate this time around. But I would say, if anything, it's pretty close. Maybe it's a 5-year, maybe it's a 5.5. But I don't think we're gonna get this, infinite up only bid that we're all imagining could happen. And I certainly wouldn't trade as if that is the scenario. So to answer your question, I think it is safer to assume that we are going to get a 4-year cycle and then just be surprised if things just keep going up. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the best approach instead of, assuming that everything's going to keep going up because we have this, institutional bid, um, and then trading it as if we can't go down.
So I agree. I think there's a few things to consider here. First of all, like people are like, oh, up only is just like go on any high time frame chart. We've been up only. Like
Yep.
the weekly,
Yep.
the monthly, like this is up only as it gets. Bitcoin is straight up been parabolic basically to the upside on the highest time frame charts with very brief periods of consolidation. This has been a very steady and aggressive marking up, and it's acted very similar to every single cycle before it. I think what I really resonate with is this is something I said in my YouTube video on Wednesday is I would rather assume it's going to be the same, realized that when I bought spot Bitcoin at 20K, 25K, when we were buying Ethereum at 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, our plan was to sell this for a multiple when things got parabolic and crazy, which they have been and are. Doesn't mean it's over yet. Doesn't mean the mania is done. And then if we're wrong, the worst thing that's happened to us is we've realized profit and we can still continue to trade and participate in the upside. But if we're right, we're preparing ourselves for what could potentially be a 30, 40, 50% pullback. I think what's more realistic is rather than the institutional aspect of the market deleting the 4-year cycle, it just changes the way the cycle works. Maybe we don't get a 90% drawdown anymore. Maybe it's 40 or 50%. You know what I mean? Because there's that institutional bid that's going to say, hey, this is cheap. Just like they do on the stock market. When there's a recession in stocks, they don't go down the S&P doesn't go down 90%, but it can go down 20, 30%, 40%. And then the consequent rallies, I think, become truncated as well. Because I believe the main driving factor that these institutions are going to bring to Bitcoin and crypto is it's going to trade more and more like in indices. That's just my view, where we're going to just get kind of less peaks and valleys. We're still going to have these trends and cycles and, money moving between, but I think it is going to normalize a little bit. And we already know that that's the case even before the ETFs. The cycles have had diminishing returns. It is what it is. An asset, this is the 5th biggest asset in the world. Takes more money to pump it every single time. So I think these things could all be true. And, if you were even remotely bullish at any point over the last 2 years, like you're up so much on most things. So I don't think it's not a win or lose scenario. It's like win and win. Like there's no downside to assuming things are going to be the same. And it will be very obvious if they're not. On terms of the institution kind of treasury company aspect, like I know Sailor, I think, isn't buying right now. Like they can't buy until like net asset value gets over a certain amount, which would require MicroStrategy to trade a lot higher than it is. And who knows what happens? Like Tommy Lee buys a bunch of ETH at 4,500, 5,000. It goes up to 8K. Then what if it drops? Like, do they hold? Do they ever sell? The institutions don't have to buy. Like there's so many variables and unknowns. I would rather operate on what we do know. And then if new information is provided, then great. I'm the same as you. Like 7 months ago when we first broke all-time high, I said, I don't know, 150K this. I'm guessing. Like I am the same as you. I work one move at a time. What's the most likely direction of like the next few days, the next daily candle, the next weekly candle? Can I make money capturing that? Awesome. As opposed to trying to be like, hey, I'm going to use some crazy Elliott wave Fibonacci bullshit to potentially predict the top, and who fucking knows. So I completely agree. I think a lot of people are getting caught up now in the fact that, yeah, we're being talked about more and the top signals are always going to be different than they were prior cycles. I think a realistic top signal could be some company adding like a crazy coin to the treasury, like literally like FARTCOIN, like just the most comical nth degree that you can imagine for the treasury company, like trend that we're seeing. To me, the summation of that is literally like a FARTCOIN treasury. I don't know. What do you think about, like, last cycle we had Elon, you and I were DMing about this. Elon on SNL, it's like, okay, this is it. He's gonna
Yes,
say
I was
Dogecoin
having
and
dinner.
yeah.
Yeah, I was having dinner and I texted you and I was like, this is the top. This is the top on Doge. There's no way that it's not the top. Like this is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Richest man on the planet announcing Doge on Saturday Night Live. Everyone knew it was going to coming, and it never traded a tick higher. So, what do you
Yeah.
think could be a top sickle this time? Because it gets bigger every time, right? It used to be celebrities were talking about crypto. Then, Jim Cramer said something on the news. Then it's Elon. Now Elon can tweet and name a department in the government after Doge, and it doesn't even move price. So, what do you think could be a top signal this go around?
Man, if you asked me this a couple months ago, I would have said the president is talking about it, his kids are talking about it. That has to be a top signal. And then now you have Eric Trump fucking basically bragging about his own trades on
Quote
ETH, even though it
retweeting.
went down 30-40% before it went up. Um, that's tough because I can't imagine it getting any more outrageous than it already is. Like you already have politicians and influencers launching scam coins, rugging people, um, fucking over as many people as they
I mean, the
can.
president of
They're
Argentina rugged a coin, and what some crypto guy made 100 mil. By the way, where is Hayden Davis? Does anyone know?
no, 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 no. But
Like,
they've already forgotten. Hey, Hayden's free. He's gone.
and
He's
Rich.
done. Yeah, he's gone and rich. He's probably 5 surgeries deep already. He's
Yeah.
unrecognizable. Yeah,
Shaved head, plastic surgery. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
agree with
yeah.
you. I genuinely can't conceptualize what else could possibly happen. The richest man in the world talks about it. The president is talking about it. Like, who is bigger?
Yeah, like I'm not sure what needs to happen here for it to be a top signal. Remember before a top signal was Katy Perry
Yeah,
fucking putting coins on her nails. Like just getting nails painted on her or
that was
coins
the
painted
death
on her
knell of
nail.
the market.
Yeah, and that was enough to take the market down.
Yeah,
Now you have the president launching his own coins. His family with Solana wallets, just creating
stealing,
coins and
straight up
rugging them.
stealing. Like,
Yeah, just stealing. I don't know. I don't know. I that's a question where I have to just, I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. I think that's how crazy things are now.
yeah.
Because if this isn't the top off of what I'm seeing from just like the crazy events that are going on, I don't know how much crazier it can reasonably get.
The hindsight is going to be nuts. Like, we're going to look back on this cycle and we're going to be like, well, come on.
Yeah, right.
Like, Bitcoin was
Exactly.
over 100K, and literally, like, everybody was talking about, the president was talking about, like, who knows? But maybe before that happens, we go to 200K, 250K. I don't want anyone here to think that we're calling top right now. We don't think the top is in. We think it goes higher. I'm just trying to think, like, because you never know really when it's happening. I mean, last cycle we were spot on with Doge, but like, you don't really know it's happening until it happens. That's the problem. People are like, how do you know when the top's in? It's like, it's already in. Once you know,
Yes.
it's already in, and your goal is not to sell the top and be like, oh, this is the top. It's to recognize when the top's in, and then you sell that kind of first bounce that occurs, and you go, okay, I'm yeeting everything, and now I'm out. And once it's in, it's in, right? Like, it's already over. I love you. I'm sorry, you already missed it. And
Yep.
again, I'm with you. I can't even conceptualize what could possibly happen. I mean, we had the Secretary of the Treasury. I think that's what Scott Bessent does. Just say, we're not even going to buy Bitcoin," and no one cares. Like, whereas
Yes. Nobody.
six months ago, we were like, please God, Trump just needs to announce, just say the word crypto in his inauguration speech, and we're going to the moon. And
Yes.
now no one cares. Like, nobody
Yep.
fucking cares. We used to track the BlackRock ETF inflows every day. That's all anyone tweeted about. Nobody
There was
cares.
an account that would just automate the alerts, and by the
Yeah.
end of the day, it would post like positive, plus 100 million or minus 50 million or whatever. And now it's like that account is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody
Yeah.
follows it. And I had an event marked, and I don't know if it would mark the top or the bottom, and that's MicroStrategy going under or MicroStrategy, selling their coins or something bad happens to Sailor. Fingers crossed. Hope that doesn't happen. Um, or something along the lines that would force the hand of MicroStrategy to either sell or stop buying completely. And
So
I think that could be some type of signal there. But it's so abstract. Like I wouldn't even take a trade based on this projection, But
yeah.
that's an event that I would be interested in seeing happen just for the chaos. That would be great. The volatility would be nuts.
So I remember someone, I think it was Low Strife, tweeting out where he's like, listen, guys, as he continues to do these raises, Michael Saylor, that is, he's actually losing voting power. And it will get to a point, if it's not already there, my understanding is it's close, where he actually no longer is the sole decision maker. Because up until this point, he can basically say, we're raising more, we're raising more. Well, guess what? Eventually, you've raised more, issued so much stock, you no longer have the voting majority of shares, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
to your point, yeah, and like that ties in with, okay, we've got Tom Lee, ETH Treasury, it makes sense. A Solana Treasury probably makes sense. But what happens when some fucking retard comes through and it's like, actually, we're doing a FARTCOIN treasury. It's Dip Wheeler, right? Like, and he becomes like the chief investment officer of some company, and they buy $100 million of FARTCOIN, which goes up 10-20% every day, and then the investor's like, wait a minute, we don't want to do this. So I mean, it's going to be crazy. In hindsight, it's going to be hilarious. The volatility is going to be unreal. Something I know everyone here is wondering about is when alt season. So I'll give my summation first, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I think the term alt season has been bastardized and just it's like that meme of the cow who's been milked to skin and bones. Like, that's the term alt season, and that cow is crypto Twitter, and the person milking it are all of the KOL influencers who have been telling you it's alt season, basically en masse every single time ETH has a single uptick for the last 3 years. I think ETH is pumped enough now that some of Alex Becker's coins might be close to break even. Maybe. Probably not, but like getting there. And he's been telling you it's alt season, it's ETH season, from ETH 4K down to 1200, back up. And because people are stupid, they're like, well, look, he's right. It's alt season. And it's like, well, dude, I mean, he's been telling you buy some of these coins that are down 99%. You need an alt season to pray to get out somewhere near break even. Anyways, so I think the term alt season is stupid. Like, alt season simply is a period of time where alts en masse are outperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is rolled over, broken structure, and it's nuking. That has not happened yet. So anyone who's telling you it's alt season, it's been alt season, it quite literally hasn't happened yet. Now, is this potentially the most topped Bitcoin dominance has looked since the bottom? Maybe. Like, if you look at the weekly chart, we've broken structure. So maybe, but we broke structure back in September, and then it V-bottomed and it made a new high. My point is very simple, guys. I don't want it to be alt season yet, because you want to know what happens when Bitcoin dominance dies and alt season occurs? This is the top of the bull run. Like, that means it's over. Alt season is like the penultimate chapter of the bull run, because Bitcoin's in the process of distributing. It's getting weaker. And so consequently, you have this period where alts go nuts. This little move here, not so little, on Bitcoin dominance, where it nuked, that was when Bitcoin topped out in April of 2021. ETH tripled in a month. Alts went crazy for like a month and a half, and then the entire market seppuku'd. So I love alt season. I want alt season, but one, I don't think it's happened yet. And two, I don't think people realize what happens after, right? Like, they think alt season's this thing that's going to save them, when in reality, alt season is your last chance to make money and yeet your bags before likely a market-wide correction. And I'll finish with this. I want Bitcoin dominance to go higher. And the reason I want that is the higher that Bitcoin goes and the higher Bitcoin dominance goes, the longer this rally and this bull market will continue. I want Bitcoin to make an aggressively higher all-time high. I don't want ETH to do it. I don't want Sol to do it. I want Bitcoin to do it, because if Bitcoin goes to 150 in the coming weeks, everything rises with it. And then when Bitcoin starts going sideways, all of your alts start to rally aggressively from an even higher level. So that's kind of my thoughts on alt season. But yeah, what do you think?
Oh, you're gonna get me started on this one. I think, and I might upset a lot of people here, but I think alt season is one of the worst things that have ever happened in crypto in terms of what it's done to the collective community of traders and just participants in general, which is every rally you have people coming out of the woodwork going, "Oh, it's alt season, guys. It's alt season." And you know how many people get fucked up because they believe that it's alt season because the numbers are going up a little bit, and they maybe they follow a guru, or they follow some account that they really respect, right? And they triple their size, quadruple their size because they feel like, wow, this is my time to make it. I don't have a strategy, I don't have any processes, I don't really trade for a living, but this is my Hail Mary opportunity, right? And they end up absolutely crushed every single time. There's been, I swear to God, like I don't know if I'm even exaggerating here. I think there's been 100 calls for alt season this year alone.
Yeah, at least
Out of 100, that's 0 out of 100. That's a
99 of them have
0%
been Alex
on,
Becker, by the way.
yeah, yeah, 96 of them might be like Alex
And
Becker
every
and
coin that he calls alt season on, guys, he's paid to do that. Just so you know.
yeah,
Anyways,
but here's the thing, which is you know that, I might know that, a handful of people might know that, but then there's like this whole collective community of people who have no idea who this guy is really.
they see he
He
gets
has,
engagement. He's popular.
right,
Yeah.
right. He hits a totally different audience than what we're used to, and these people get absolutely farmed. They get liquidated, they get destroyed, and then guess what? They're jaded with crypto. They hate crypto. They think every influencer is a scammer. They think, oh, dude, there's nothing that works in this community. I should just scam because everyone's scamming, right? And I think the idea of alt season is beautiful, where everything goes up. Me, you, your mom, your barber, your cousin, your fourth cousin down the line. Everyone's making money, but it is such a, it's such like a pipe dream that I think most people are better assuming that alt season is not coming. And because if you assume that alt season is not coming, you're forced to put things into your own hands. You're forced
Hmm.
to learn how to trade. You're forced to do your due diligence because not everything is going to pump and make you millions of dollars. And now you suddenly put the agency into your own hands instead of fucking praying for this magical season that has not happened. And when it did happen, it was
You had no
many
money, and you had no money to take
proportions less.
advantage of it anyways.
Yes. Yeah, because by the time the alt season comes, you might have already lost your money from the other 451 alt seasons
Yeah.
that you thought were coming, right? So again, I just think the idea of an alt season has been so detrimental, especially this season, where any signs of life, no regards to market structure, no regards to fundamentals, no regards to anything. People are just, oh, dude, it's alt season, it's alt season. No, it's not. And maybe there is an alt season, but maybe you should prepare for the case that alt season doesn't come so soon, or
Yeah.
it doesn't come to the same intensity that it's come in 2016, 2017.
Everyone also, I think, looks at alt season through like rose-colored glasses. Like they remember it more fondly than it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's like an X or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like she was great. It's like, no, she was nuts. Like she ruined
Yeah,
your
yeah.
life.
She's terrible. She ruined her
The
life,
thing I always tell people about alt season is it's a period of time where alts go up. Yes. but you need a few things to happen to take advantage of it. Number one, you have to have money, right? It's awesome. If there's a few week span where alts can double or triple in a very short period of time, that's awesome. If you have money and you're buying those alts near the lows. Second thing is if you're holding an alt that is down 95%, alt season is not going to save you. Like, you're fucked. So I think that's two of the major issues is people are buying these alts. They're praying for alt season to bail them out and replace, to your point, the need for actual skill in the market. And alt season is not going to save you. We've had many alts already this year go from zero to billions of dollars in market cap out of thin air. And people are still waiting for some alt season like it's this thing that's going to come down from the heavens and just start handing out money to everyone. It's not the case. And I love your point about agency, because crypto Twitter specifically is probably one of the largest victim mentality help groups on the planet. Nobody takes accountability for anything. Everything is someone else's fault. This goes to, I tell people this for everything. Trump coin, fucking Libra. Libra was a scam. It was a rug. You still bought it. Javier Milei and Hayden Davis weren't over your shoulder forcing you to buy, right? Like, you got to understand that regardless of whether or not someone ripped you off, oh, Cupsy is fucking, this is one of these meme toying guys. I'm sure you've seen him on Twitter. Oh, he's every day he makes 100K for 300 days in a row, but he's just farming copy traders. Well, don't copy trade him then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just no one takes accountability for anything. And it's frustrating, but for sure, because it's a terrible way to live. You're never going to get ahead. And unfortunately, this is why voices like ours and videos like these don't do as well as the Alex Becker videos, the Moon Carl videos of old, Crypto videos of old, because no one wants to take accountability or accept that most of these people are just selling you a dream, because it doesn't get likes, it doesn't get clicks. Because why wouldn't this, if I titled this video Loma and Mayne are calling for alt season right now, and all we did is tell you, you guys are about to get so rich, just buy anything, you're about to 10x your money, it'd get a lot more views. But it's like that one meme where it's like, you know, life advice or whatever on the one side, no one's there, and then like, you know, $100 right now, or advice on how to make $1 million in a year over here, and one line stacked. And I mean, it is what it is, but sorry to bum you guys out. I do believe, I'm just trolling Becker. I don't actually know the guy. I know for a fact I've seen him tweet about alt season, like at every level of ETH this entire time. And eventually he's going to be right shortly. Go look at his videos from 2021 and just see how any of those coins did and make your own decision. So I agree on alt season. I think the idea of waiting for it to bail you out is stupid. Take action. There's opportunity in the market every day. There's been multiple periods this cycle where alts have massively outperformed Bitcoin. We had a massive period where Solana was outperforming Bitcoin. Right now we're experiencing period of ETH outperformance. So don't just wait for alt season to come save you. Like, no one is going to come save you. And you wrote a tweet, I think it was yesterday or the day before, because naturally Capo, you know, market makes a new all-time high. Capo's got to come out and draw a line going to zero and being like, don't FOMO in. And it resonated with me so much, where it's like, this guy's completely wrong. Like, you are late. You are probably running out of time. If you've missed the cycle up to this point, the risk to make money now is way higher than it was a year, 2 years ago. Like, massively so. Do I think Bitcoin goes up? Yeah. But how much higher? 2x? How low can it go before going up that high? Like, the risk reward here is way more skewed than it was 6, 12, 24 months ago. And the idea that it's just getting started, no need to FOMO. I'm not saying FOMO and just start buying shit right now, but if you haven't made any money up to this point, you're not positioned in anything, you should worry. Like, you shouldn't be chilling.
Yeah. Yeah, like 1000%. I think a lot of times people do this thing where they, you know, and I get that it's an ego thing where they try to avoid pain, right? And I put a tweet out about this, which is avoiding pain is the worst way of trading. Like, you do not want to avoid pain. You want to just minimize the amount of pain that you receive. Like, you don't want your losses to be so severe that you're always at a risk of ruin. You don't want to be like 99% of people where most people I know how to make money. They know how to draw little fucking boxes. They draw a couple lines. They use their RSI, they do their MACD, and they know how to find setups. And if you ask the average person, they actually, come across a couple winners here and there. It's just that their losers are so big that their winners don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They might win 60% of the time, but every time they lose twice as much, three times as much. And then you get guys like Capo who again are just protecting their ego by saying, "Oh, guys, don't worry. Don't worry if you've been wrong for 2 fucking years." And even though the structure of this coin is fucking vertical and to the right for the last 2 years, don't worry. It's gonna go down in a straight fucking line. And you read that and you see why he gets so much engagement because there's so many people that feel like, oh yeah, 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 like he's so right. I shouldn't worry. It's gonna be okay.
It's
The
the
coins are gonna
inverse
go
alt
down, and
season.
I'm gonna get another opportunity,
Yeah, it's the
right?
inverse
Like
of
it's
alt season. Alt season is the prayer that you're going to get bailed out by price going up. His is, don't worry, you're going to get an entry.
yes, yes. It's just two sides of the same coin, right? And when you see that, that's kind of why I understand where he's coming from. But it's just so comical because how can someone be wrong for fucking 2 years and then say, "Oh, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine." Like, no, 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 no. In any other profession, if you were wrong for 2 years with evidence that you are wrong, with evidence that proves you should change your mind, you should fucking worry. Why would you not worry? That's that's a terrible advice, but people eat it up because it sounds good. It
Yeah.
sounds good when you say it fast.
It's playing to people's emotions, right? Like you didn't
Yeah.
miss out. Don't worry. Price is going to come back, give you your entry. You're going to be able to ride it to highs. Don't worry yet. The other is, hey, your entry sucks, but don't worry. You're about to be bailed out. It's just, I think it plays to ego, to your point, where I think gives people comfort. No one wants to hear the truth or something that they're not going to like. People have cognitive dissonance in this space. And I think your point about pain is spot on. Most of the mistakes I made in trading is not, oh, I closed this too early. I should have let this run. I entered this. It's always letting a loss become bigger than it was supposed to. It's pretty much every bad mistake I've made in trading is letting something that could have been a 1R loss become 2R or 3R because I've hung on, I got greedy, I got emotional, whatever. And, it's about stacking up those wins. You don't even need the positive win rate. You just need the wins to outweigh the losses. So, I call it tuition to these guys. I'm like, you got to take your licks, man. Like you got to lose money
Yeah.
to learn. So, yeah, this is the inverse Capo, inverse Becker episode right now. But listen, this is the stuff people want to hear. And I'd rather tell you this now when the times are good than tell you I told you so once the market's already corrected. Like, I'm not saying you need to sell everything or you need to FOMO in, but be aware, like, this is your money at risk. There's real stakes here. There's real opportunity to change your life. Take ownership of it. Don't expect someone or something that you have no control over is going to come and save you. Take some fucking ownership. So, no, I think this is all good. So, in terms of, where we are in the cycle, we've kind of discussed that already. What are you looking at to maximize, kind of this next leg of the cycle? I know you already mentioned, before we went live, we're at a point now where we don't have to take the same risk anymore. It's a blessing of being around more than one cycle, having a significant amount of capital where it's like, listen, if Bitcoin goes up 30, 40, 50% from here, like we're minting. A lot of people don't have that luxury, right? It's their first cycle. They're still trying to make it. Where do you see the most opportunity in the next few months? Is it trading? Is it the trenches? Is it holding spot of some altcoins that are, pretty fucking decimated versus Bitcoin? Like, where would you be focusing if you were, a 5-figure port, a low 6-figure port, and you're trying to run it up as much as you can over the next couple months?
Yeah, so this is gonna be very I can only speak from my experience. And the way I see it is actually through like a process of elimination, right? So when I first started, there weren't that many choices, I guess. You know, you had BitMEX, you had Binance, and basically that was those were your two choices, really. Like you couldn't really do too much else, unless you could get into like some ICO groups or whatever. But you know, for me, it was very easy because like I'm either picking leverage or non-leverage, right? And
Hmm.
now you have trenches, you have fucking 10 different chains for every, you know, meme coin. You have derivatives, you have spot, you have, you know, you could do fundamental trading with your memes. You can try to be a KOL and get insider information. You can do so many different things now. And what I would say is if you are in the trenches, I think the odds are heavily against you. And for that, I would immediately cross that out because, again, I feel like I have no agency, right? My biggest thing, and if you're in the market, I'm assuming that you feel this way too, which is you feel like you can outperform the average person, whether that's, you know, you feel like you're smarter than the average person, or you execute better than the average person, or um, you get information sooner than the average person. You're connected to a trading group that, you know, you learn faster than the average person,
The
whatever.
Haven.
The idea is
Sorry.
that you're only in the market because you feel like you can outperform the average person. Um, I don't feel like I have that advantage in the trenches. I don't feel like I have that trying to be a KOL because now people are so on top of it. Like you can tell when a KOL is shilling. Like you can tell. They can make it all fancy. They can preface it with, "Oh, you know, I was up at 3 a.m. and I suddenly saw this coin and thought, you know, I threw $5,000 in there, right?" And then you'll read it and you'll be like, "Okay, well, clearly he's fucking shilling. Like no way that really happened. Okay? No way he just organically found this coin, threw some money in there, why is the team following him? What the fuck is going on here, right? People are smarter than that. So for that, I think the trenches are just gone. And I would just default to trading because I feel like I have the most control. I feel like I can decide my own destiny. And if I fail, it's because I fucking suck. I never learned. I never adapted. I never watched my risk. I was fearful when I should have been hopeful. I was
Hmm.
hopeful when I should have been fearful, right? There are objective lessons that I can learn from and adapt and hopefully give it a better go. Whereas in the trenches, my fucking strategy is okay, I bought in. I hope the CEO doesn't rug it tomorrow. I hope he shills it,
Well,
right?
or you
And
hope you
that's
have
not
inside information. Like,
yes, or
that's
you
what
have
it is.
inside information. And if I'm assuming that if you have a small portfolio and you're new, you're probably not on that list. You're
Yeah.
probably not, you know, that connected. But if you are connected, then by all means, go ahead, scam your money off, you know, do your thing. But I would just stick to trading because I feel like I have some control there. Whether it's $10,000, 100,000, a million, or whatever, I feel like as long as I have something that is in my control that I can decide my own destiny, I would rather do that than roll the dice and bet on Hayden to come back and save me, you know, or something similar.
Or Elon to pump your coin by tweeting about it. So I agree with a lot of
Yeah.
what you said. I want to touch on a few things here. So I agree. Like trading, in my opinion, is your best bet at outperforming the market. Like to me, the trenches for the vast majority of people, or low cap meme coins, whatever you want to call them, is lottery tickets. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can't win the lottery without buying the ticket. I almost won the peanut lottery and then I sold it, right? Like, but you can't win without buying. So I don't think that there's any issue with buying coins, but I think to be successful in the trenches, generally, there are these people who are so locked in, right? Where they are quite literally scanning every new coin that launches. They have Twitter trackers, blah blah. I'm not saying that that's not a skill. There are people who do it, but the to Loma's point about being in control, the information asymmetry and the ability for the coin to move against you in the trenches versus in the real markets, it's drastically different because most of these trench coins are bundled. Most of the ones that run, the big holders are the same big holders of the other coins that run. This is just how it is. They've cornered this market, no different than large whales did with other altcoins in prior cycles. This used to happen back in last cycle, the cycle before it. It's happening now at a very high level with a company like Binance, where they buy up a coin before they list it, right? The trenches, this is just happening at hyper speed, hyper scale, with smaller stakes, but it's the same thing that's happening. There are people that know, and they're basically farming those that don't know. You can get lucky. You can be one of the people that know. Maybe you can be a trencher who's in there all day, maybe, but I think it's really convenient generally how the people who seem to be making the money in the trenches are always the same people. It's never like some random guy.
They're always lucky, dude. They're
like,
always getting that 1% roll
man,
every time.
these same guys have unbelievable RNG. Like they just seem to win everything.
Unbelievable RNG.
The same 20 guys hatch every runner. Isn't that weird? Now,
it's so weird.
I don't
and
want
then,
to.
You know what's weird is you'll see that, but if you say anything, there's like an army of people that will just fucking arise out of thin air to
Stockholm syndrome. Like it's misery loves company, right? Because it's like, well, man, this guy told me I'm gonna make it. Guess what, guys? I've been around, so is Loma, long enough where the VCs and the people who controlled the fucking larger altcoins told us we were gonna make it. Don't worry, the coins are never going down. The super cycle's here. Daddy, the billionaire, is gonna take care of you, and they never do. You know,
they never do.
So
they never do.
The RNG is crazy, and listen, I don't want to take accountability away from the buyers. So there's these trenchers who seem to be very lucky. Guess what? None of them are forcing you to buy. And if I was in their shoes, I would probably do the same shit that they're doing. If I could buy a meme coin and everybody fucking bought it because my wallet touched it and I get free money all day no matter what, why wouldn't they do it? And anyone saying I wouldn't do this, they're lying. None of you, all of you would do it. You just don't have the opportunity to. Just like many of these KOLs, they're like, I can't believe this guy would take tokens to shill a project. I guarantee you, if someone offered you $100K to tweet a ticker, you would fucking tweet it. It's just, very few people have the moral compass to turn down that kind of money. And while I don't do that, Loma doesn't do that, I don't necessarily fault people that do. At the end of the day, this is a one-player game. And you want to leave this space and never come back and have your family taken care of. However you choose to get there, that's up to you. But you are just as responsible as the person on the other side. Because that person can't farm you if you don't choose to play. You can't get rugged if you're not buying those fucking coins. So your tweet about the trenches being like, does anyone else wish this would just fucking die? I'm on the same page, but I also think we're like Grandpa Simpson, where it's like old crypto men yell at the kids.
Oh yeah.
Because we were doing shit, bro. I mean, back in the day, you know, we were buying new listings. Like we were trying to catch the fucking stuff before it happened. I mean, maybe we're just old and it's just iterated now. And now we look at it and be like, how can you listen to rap these days? Like when I grew up, the rap music was actually good. The lyrics were good and you could understand what they were saying. This new stuff is just all mumbling. So maybe we're just fucking old and washed. This is a very good question from David Kissel. I'll go first, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I imagine it's going to be the same as me, but thoughts on... oh, we just answered that. Sorry, he had another question. Here it is. Any tips for when handling larger P&L swings as you go from 5, 6 to 7 figures psychologically? So very quickly for me, the easiest thing to do is you have to stop thinking about your account and the risk you're putting into trade as that amount of money. It's really hard and it seems counterintuitive, but risking $2,000 and 20 grand, you're like, holy shit, I know what I can buy with 20 grand. I can buy a car. I can pay for half a year's rent. I can do all this shit. $2,000 is $2,000. But the problem is if you can't just think of it as 1R, like my risk is 2% of my port. Whether that port is $1,000 or $1 million, it's 2%. And you know your edge, you know your strategy where you can afford to lose 2% multiple times in a row and still be okay. If you cannot get your brain there, it's going to be very hard for you to scale to larger sums of money, because all of a sudden when that 2% is now mid 5 figures, 6 figures even, it becomes unbearable to deal with. So that's something that you just kind of have to learn, in my opinion, if you really want to scale to those higher levels. Once you get to a certain point, in my opinion, like, this is just me, maybe you disagree, but like above 8 figs, I no longer am trading with a large portion of my money. I think with 500K, $1 million in a trading account, you can make so much goddamn money. Obviously, I know you see those guys on Hyperliquid and the Binance leaderboard who are making $30 million in a month, but once you get a certain amount of money, I don't think you need to take that same amount of risk, and you can still make an ungodly amount of money, and it's a lot safer, it's a lot less stressful. And once you have $10 million, guys, the difference in your life between 10 million and 20 million is negligible. The difference between, I got friends who are worth 9 figures. Their life is not much different than someone who's got, you know, low to mid 8 figures. Like, maybe you don't own a private jet. You could still fly private if you want, or first class everywhere. So that's just kind of my thoughts. You got to disassociate from the dollar amount. It's just a percentage of your account.
Yeah, I'll build on that because we have similar takes here. But I always tell people this, which is it's funny because size is a privilege. Usually, by the time you've grinded an account from 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures, or 8 figures or whatever, you've acquired a certain amount of experience and a little bit of that emotional and mental tolerance to handle larger sizing. Now, if you haven't, you need to earn it. So you start at a size that you are comfortable with. So let's say if you have $1 million, your position size should not be $1 million. Maybe it should be 100K. And then you slowly increase that until there's a point where your execution starts to diminish, right? So whether that's 200K, 300K, 400K, whatever, then you stop there and you only take trades up until that amount, right? Because yes, it's easy for me to say this where I tell people, think about it like a video game, right? Where you have to level up to a certain level before you can wear certain equipment. In this case, I want you to level up enough to where you can wield certain position sizes. And if you can't, then get to leveling. Get to getting more reps, more iterations of sizing 100K, 150K, 200K, whatever. And slowly everything will work itself out. Because that's one beautiful thing about trading, is that you can get a lot of reps. Okay? Like, there are no shortage of trade setups. You'll find whatever you're looking for. And I just hope that you know what you're looking for, because if not, that's a whole different topic altogether, but work yourself into it, okay?
No, I agree. I mean, the point about where your performance starts to lag, I think everyone hits that. I got to a point where I was risking an amount that it made, no matter, even though I knew it was like a percentage of, the port, it just became too much. Like, I wasn't sleeping good. I was making poor decisions, like cutting trades early, things like that, because it was just too much money. And you kind of get to a point where it's like, hey, if I'm risking 20, 30, 40, 50K on a trade and I'm getting 2 or 3R, like, it's so much money to a point where it's like, it doesn't matter. But I think it's all a very good point. The video game analogy is super spot on. And use prop firms, guys. Use fucking Breakout. Trade 100K for only $1,000, you fuckers. Buy my shit. I've been shilling these fuckers on YouTube like crazy. But like, honestly, dude, I wish Breakout existed when I was early on, because it's like it's just like another form of leverage. It's like, okay, for $1,000, I can get a 100K account. I can go long a $500,000 of BTC, and I only have to flip a coin right twice to make all my money back and more. And there's so many different ways that you guys can do this now. With regard to a small account, what can be a good strategy as the cycle is more likely ending? I don't think your strategy should drastically change based on the size of your account. Like, you could be scalping, you could be taking more trade. Like I think a very common misconception people have when they have less money is they're like, I'm gonna scalp because then I'll take more trades and make more money. When conversely, that could also mean that you're just gonna lose more money because you get more trades wrong. Just because you take more trades, it doesn't mean you make more money necessarily. I think your strategy ideally is scalable. I will say, as I've gotten more money, I trade less. I trade more high time frame than I used to. So, I mean, maybe there's something there, but I don't think you should change the way you trade just because you're like, oh, I don't have a lot of money. And I mean, if you don't have a lot of money and you think the cycle's ending and you're trying to run it up, you're basically asking me if you think you should fucking gamble and try and flip it, you know, to a huge amount. I don't know if that's good advice.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we think about how markets tend to be, and there's, you know, no hard number here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just throw out some numbers. Let's say 90% of traders don't make money. So then ideally, you would want to be the 10% that do make money. And since the market is made up of just human beings, usually, there's some algorithms, but they're ran by human beings, you want to do probably what 90% of people aren't doing. And what 90% of people fail to do is to stay consistent with their execution. I'll tell you that now. If I showed you one trade and I fucking put a gun to your head and I said, "Hey, you have to be strict with your execution on this one trade," I bet you 99.999% of people will be able to do it. Now, if I said, "Okay, the gun's gone, but now you have to follow your execution for 100,000 trades." And if you can do that across 100,000 trades and execute properly using your strategy, whatever it is, you'll probably make money. But again, 90% of people will not be able to do that. I promise you. And like that's like a very easy edge that most people just leave unturned. Like that's a stone that people leave unturned where they're not consistent. Just being consistent already puts you in the minority. That's how I don't want to make trading sound like it's easy, but it's a lot more about your execution than it is about TA. I almost think technical analysis is one of those things that people get too obsessed with, and they should actually be more obsessed with their emotions, how they execute their trading strategies, how they, you know, manage their risk sizing, how aware they are of their current situation relative to the market structure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Too many people are, again, fearful when they should be optimistic and hopeful, and too many are optimistic when they should be fucking terrified.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think most people don't realize how many reps we've put in, right, to be able to make these decisions, have this confidence when we need to. You get to a point where I mean, humans are pattern recognition machines, basically. And that's something that you develop and you learn over time by doing. There's no real shortcuts here. And I think that's something people are always looking for. Like, what's the fastest way I can do this? If you want to build a career in trading, something that's sustainable, where you make more money than you lose over time, there is no shortcut to doing that. Outside of maybe finding a group or a person who is collating information for you. It doesn't have to be a paid group. It could be a YouTuber where you're like, hey, I like how this guy trades. And now instead of going to 50 different channels, I'm watching one, but you still got to do the work. You're not going to watch a YouTube video and become profitable. You're not going to read a book and become profitable. It's something that you refine. It's an edge, because think of it like a knife. It starts very dull and you sharpen it over time until it becomes an edge. And it's got to be repeatable. It's got to be scalable. And the only way to get there is to consistently, like a robot, follow your rules, do the same thing every time. And to Lomah's point, you're going to be ahead of most people by just trusting your system on its own, let alone having a really good system or having discretion on top of it. Usually when I'm teaching people how to trade, the first thing I show them is a mechanical system. And if they can't follow the mechanical system, the likelihood that they're going to be able to do anything else is very low, right? Okay, all of these things happen. That means I'm supposed to long, and then they don't do it. And then it goes up, and then they get angry. Oh, all these things didn't happen. I shouldn't take the trade, but they take the trade anyways. And then it didn't work. These are things that you have to just learn by doing, unfortunately, or fortunately. I think it's a good thing, and it's fun, and it's like a video game. We're all video gamers here, basically. So, yeah, great advice there, guys. A lot of funny comments now. What happens if I have a negative R system that keeps losing money after hundreds of trades? It's time to get a job. I keep making the same mistake. I hit 3 or 4 good trades in a row, and then the 5th trade I hit a wall mentally and I lose all the gains. How do you tackle this mental wall? I mean, if you're risking 1% and you've won 4 trades in a row, your 5th trade should not nuke all of your gains. So like, are you saying that I'm on a winning streak and then as soon as I take a loss, I blow it all up? Sometimes you need to be journaling in instances like this. What are you doing differently at that 5th trade mark that you weren't doing for the first 4 trades, right? Are you getting greedy and is your ego getting bigger because you're like, oh, I can't lose? This is when journaling can be really helpful, knowing what you're doing and saying, okay, am I doing something wrong? I was crushing it last week and this week I can't fucking win. Is the market doing what it, was it trending and now it's ranging? Do you maybe need to recalibrate? Are you doing something emotionally? These are the types of questions you need to ask yourself, I think, in those instances. Okay, this is a great one. Who are we betting on for UFC tomorrow, buddy? Like, who are we betting on?
Oh, man. Every time I bet against Dreykus, I've been wrong. So I just have to go with Dreykus. He'll find a way to win, I think. He's like that guy with like a really ugly trading strategy, but he always makes money because his risk management is good. Like
Yes.
yeah. So I'm going Dreykus.
So I like him too. That being said, I think that if Hamzat's going to win, it's going to happen fast. Like he's going to get a hold of his neck in the first round. I think if it goes past the first round, the probability of Dreykus winning is way higher because we haven't really seen Hamzat go that deep with that many people because he usually just fucking mauls them right off the rip.
Yep.
And to me, like, that's where the value is. The value is not betting on Hamzat. I think everyone's fucking betting on Hamzat. Like, I think you can get 2.5 to 1 basically right now on Duplessis, and I think that's a pretty good bet. But it's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm really excited. Dreykus looks like he doesn't know how to fight, but he's also one of the greatest fighters in the world at the same time. Like, it's one of those guys where it's like Jokic in basketball almost. Like, some stuff he does, you're like, has this guy ever played basketball before? And then he hucks up a 3, like, over his head from half court and just bangs it. But he does it all the time, so it's clearly not a fluke. But, yeah, I'm very excited about that fight tomorrow. Those are our fucking... This guy says it's not how you pronounce his name. Is it Drickus or Dreykus? I don't really care, bro. But how you pronounce his name doesn't affect, whether or not he's going to win the fight.
Yeah.
Easy. Not sure I understand how it works. Yeah. What's your favorite vegetable? I don't know. Fucking pickles. Do you recommend doing 3 TPs per trade? I hit TP 1, then I somehow get stopped at break even various times. At the one time I hit my stop loss, I lose all my gains. Well, that doesn't even make sense the way you wrote it, because in theory, if it hits TP1 and then you take some profit and then you get stopped at break even, you shouldn't be losing money. But maybe you're losing your unrealized gains is what you're talking about. I have a bone to pick with the stop at break even people. And I do stop to break even lots of times, but I've been trading for a very long time. So I think I've earned the right to do trade management where I take partials, I compound, I adjust stops and things like that. I think if you are new to trading, you should not touch your entries. Your entry should be your entry. Your stop should be your stop. Your target should be your target, because that is your trade idea. And until either your stop loss or your take profit is hit, your trade isn't done. The amount of times that you're going to close your trade early because you trailed up your stop, or you're going to give back a bunch of UP&L because it hit your take profit, but you didn't close because you thought it was going to go higher, it's like infinite. So the problem with the stop to break even is your entry is, let's say in a long, it's support, right? Like if you are entering a long, you're entering at an area where you think price is going to bounce. So if you're right and price bounces from where you enter because you think it's an area of support, demand, order block, whatever the fuck you want to call it, if you then bring your stop to entry, you're now putting your stop at support. And what you'll see happen a lot is price will come back down, retest your entry, which is supposed to be support. You get stopped out, and then it ends up going up without you. So I'm not saying there's not instances where bringing your stop to break even can make sense, but I feel like one of the most common pitfalls new traders have is they bring their stop to break even too soon, and then price is just doing what it does, which is sometimes working a level, and they end up getting stopped at break even.
Yep, 100%. I think, especially if you're new, you're going to be very susceptible to emotions, right? And I don't think there are many emotions that feel as bad as seeing your money go up and then go back to zero or in the red. And when you see that, you're instinctively going to want to close out your positions because losing money sucks, especially when you've made money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, if you're new, let your trade positions play out because how do you know if it's good or bad if you're constantly meddling with it, right? You're introducing so many different variables. Like, what if Monday you feel very optimistic because you got enough sleep? You feel good. Your mind is clear. But then Tuesday you had a busy day at work, so you're short on time, you're stressing. So now you look at a chart and you see the prices kind of going down, so you're extra scared. You're more susceptible to being scared or stressed or whatever, right? And a lot of times people will start doing things to their trade system that's even worse than just moving stuff to break even. It's a slippery slope. It's, oh, maybe I should buy more. Maybe I should short more. Maybe I should adjust my stop lower. Maybe I should increase my target higher, right? So usually when we talk about moving your stop to break even, that's if that was the only thing people did, that wouldn't be so bad. But when people do that, they tend to also do all of the other things that I fuck, and they end up wondering, wow, I told myself I would only lose 2%. How the fuck did I lose 15?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then you have the situation like the other questions where you make four winning trades and suddenly on the fifth one, you lost your ass, right? So you want to avoid that as much as possible. And how do you know if your strategy even works if you're constantly reinventing your strategy every other day?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, your strategy, guys, it's called a trading system because it's systematic. You're doing the same things over and over again. And once you're in a trade, decisions you make once the trade's already in motion are inherently going to be skewed by those emotions. If you're up money, you're probably going to act differently than if that trade is below your entry, and you're probably not going to be thinking as well as you were before you even entered. I often find another reason people do the stop to break even thing is they're over risking. So they want to get in and then stop to break even because they don't want to lose. When you enter a trade, the amount of money that you get stopped out for, you need to be completely comfortable with losing that amount to the point where it has little to no emotional impact. And if you ever find yourself fucking with the trade after the fact, there's a good chance you probably just have too much risk on. Yeah, and Chase, what up, Chase? The point that you made about day-to-day fluctuations in your mood. You get in a fight with your girlfriend, you have a shitty day at work, all of a sudden you're fucking underwater on a trade. You haven't been stopped out, but you're underwater. You're like, fuck this, I don't want to lose any more money. You close it, and then you wake up. Like the emotional damage that you get from closing a trade early, going against your system, and then it working out as you thought it was going to, that fucks you up a lot. So you're better off just kind of accepting that, hey, if I'm going to lose 200 bucks, I'm going to lose 200 bucks. We'll do a couple more and then I'll let you go because it's Friday night.
Well, let me just quickly say
Yeah, of
something
course.
about that last one too before I forget. Nobody asked, but what you should actually be thinking. Usually when prices are going down, people want to add, right? Like so many times people are hopeful when they should be fearful, right? Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, which is wow, when prices are going down, people are always thinking, okay, well, if I get bounce and it goes to break even, I'm going to close this position, but it never bounces. And they're just hoping for something that they might not get, and then they end up accruing even more and more losses. And then back to the question, which is when prices are up, they move their stops to break even. Why? Because they're fucking scared, right? They're fucking scared when they should be hopeful. They should have noticed that, wow, prices reacted off their support level, it bounced. Cool. Maybe they really did buy support. Maybe that's a good level to be, right? And they should be hopeful there. Maybe that would be the opportunity for you to size up if you wanted to. But no, people are scared at that point. They move it to break even, they get stopped out, and maybe it goes down or maybe it doesn't. But you'll never know because you don't follow your fucking trade strategy.
No, 100%. I think it just goes back to simply like, guys, you entered the trade here for a reason. Your invalidation is here for a reason. Like, let the trade play out. You need to do that literally thousands of times before you even know if you have something that could become a trading system. I think a lot of people get lucky. You know, they're longing every dip in a bull run, and then all of a sudden there's a dip that keeps dipping, and they fuck themselves. It's like, okay, did I have a strategy? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and I think your point is nailed in that. You know, people often are averaging down on losers and forgetting to size up on winners, and that will kill you. We'll do one more here, and then we'll wrap it. And then if you got any thoughts that you want to leave the people with before you go, and then we'll do another one of these in hopefully less than a year's time. Arbitrage Andy says, would you rather be stuck on an island for 2 years with Gainsey or with Capo?
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, that's tough. Oh, that's tough. I think I'd rather be on there with Capo than Gainsey. And let me
Really?
explain. Yeah, yeah, and let me explain, which is Gainsey, I like a little too much to see him suffer on the island with. But Capo, I wouldn't mind if something accidentally happened to him and I had to eat his body. You know, I
Okay.
would feel really bad eating Gainsey's body. Like there's too much fucking hair, there's too much fat. It's just it's old meat, you know? I feel like Capo is more
If you
delectable.
got to
I
eat
feel like I
someone,
would
you'd rather
prefer.
eat Capo to survive.
Yeah, yeah, like you know, we're fighting for the last salami or something. I don't mind taking it from Capo,
Yeah.
but taking it from Gainsey, I would feel really bad actually. I would feel really bad.
So I'm going to say Gainsey, and here's why. Because of that hair that you mentioned, we could use that as kindling to start fires and keep ourselves warm. And then hopefully find some flora or fauna on the island. And using that shoulder hair fueled fire, we could cook that food. And we could also use that shoulder and body hair to create smoke signals to hopefully get saved. But I like how we're both thinking about our likelihood of survivability. I'm thinking Gainsey's
Yeah.
furry. We can use that fur to start fires. And you're like, listen, I'm going to have to eat someone. Someone's getting eaten, and it's not you. And
Yeah.
if it's got to be someone, it's got to be Capo. And you know, I like that. And I also think Capo would be doomering the whole time, being like, don't,
Yes, yes. I
like,
feel like
does that
Capo
boat
would
see
already
us? He's like, don't worry,
give
the
up.
next boat is coming.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, the thing is, it's like I also feel like Gainsey's too high maintenance, you know? Like he's gonna be like, Loma, where's my cigar? I'm
Yeah.
out of cigars. Oh man, dude, I can't eat this. I'm oh, I need my cigarettes. Where's my
You
beer?
guys are
Like,
scavenging for food, and he's posting on Twitter being like 3 out of 10 tasted like shit. You're like, bro, these
yeah,
berries are all we
exactly. Like
had.
like he used the last bit of the iPhone battery to like tweet some nonsense.
Yeah, Loma found some berries on a bush. They sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. It's always good to hear from you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more stuff like this, not just from me, you guys see me all the time on YouTube, but Loma streams every single week inside the Haven. So if you want alpha like this to the nth degree, plus trades and the ability to talk to him, you can find him in the Haven. You 100% should be following him on Twitter because he's dropping alpha there as well. And I think this episode is worth listening to more than once. Lots of little nuggets of information over the last hour. So Loma, thank you so much, man. And
No, dude, thank
yeah.
you for having me. Like, thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone that, stayed and listened for almost an hour and a half. I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. And yeah, thank you.
We'll talk soon. All right.